Look at a map, and you will see a world that feels familiar. But what if that world is a distortion? What if one of the largest, richest, most complex continents on Earth has been quietly reduced, not in reality, but in perception? Fade in, Africa. This is Africa, and this is the story the world almost missed. The misunderstanding begins with a map. The Mercator projection created for navigation reshaped the world visually. Regions near the poles appear larger. Regions near the equator appear smaller. And Africa sits at the equator, so it was shrunk. But the truth is staggering. Africa is larger than United States, China, and India combined. It spans over 30 million square kilometers. It touches both hemispheres. A giant made to look ordinary. Long before colonization, Africa was not waiting to be discovered. It was already thriving. The Mali Empire controlled vast trade routes of gold and salt. Its ruler, Mansa Musa, is widely considered one of the wealthiest individuals in history. Meanwhile, in southern Africa, the Kingdom of Great Zimbabwe stood as a symbol of architectural brilliance. Massive stone structures, built without mortar, still standing centuries later. Yet for years, some claimed Africans could not have built this, not because of evidence, but because of belief. In the city of Timbuktu, knowledge flourished. At institutions like Sankore University, scholars debated law and philosophy. Astronomers studied the stars, doctors practiced medicine. Thousands of manuscripts still survive. Proof that Africa was not just a land of resources, but a land of ideas. Yet these contributions were rarely taught alongside European achievements, because history is often written by those in power. Then came one of the most devastating turning points in human history: the transatlantic slave trade. Millions of Africans were taken, their labor, their knowledge, their futures extracted. Communities were destabilized, societies were fractured. And as the slave trade declined, a new system emerged: colonialism. At the Berlin Conference, European powers divided Africa without African voices. Borders were drawn with rulers, not with understanding. The lines drawn during colonization ignored ethnic identities, cultural ties, historical alliances. The result? Nations forced together, communities split apart. Many modern tensions across Africa can be traced back to those artificial boundaries. A map created in a room, shaping realities for generations. Africa is one of the richest continents on Earth in natural resources. Gold, diamonds, oil, cobalt, yet it is often described as poor. This is the paradox. Because wealth is not just about resources, it is about control. For centuries, raw materials were exported, value was added elsewhere, profits flowed outward, and the narrative remained: Africa is lacking. In modern media, Africa is often reduced to a single storyline: war, poverty crisis. But this is not the whole truth. Cities like Lagos and Nairobi are centers of technology, finance, creativity. Industries like Nollywood produce thousands of films annually, reaching millions worldwide. Innovation is rising. Youth populations are growing. Ideas are spreading. But these stories rarely dominate global headlines. African culture has shaped the world. Music, rhythm, fashion, language. Echoes of Africa exist across continents. Yet often these influences are separated from their origins, celebrated, but not always acknowledged. Perhaps the deepest consequence of being overlooked is internal. Generations grew up learning. Their history started with colonization. Their systems were inferior. Their future depended on others. This creates something powerful: self-doubt, identity, confusion, lost confidence. Because when a story is repeated enough, it begins to feel true. But Africa is reclaiming its voice. Writers like Chinua Achebe challenged distorted narratives decades ago. Today, a new generation is rising. Filmmakers, historians, entrepreneurs, digital creators. They are telling stories from within. Authentic, complex, unfiltered. Africa is not becoming important. It always was. What is changing is visibility. A young population driving innovation, expanding digital economies, growing global influence. The world is beginning to see what was always there. Africa was never small. It was never empty. It was never behind. It was overlooked because its story was told by others. But now the story is being reclaimed, and the giant is finally being seen.